Hello, friends. Back once again to give you these UFC picks at a decent time ahead of the fights. Not Wednesday, it's not too crazy. I actually waited one day because one fight fell out. I just wanted to see if they would remake it, even though it was a lower level fight, which was Cedricus Dumas versus Dennis Tilulin. Wanted to see if they remake it. They just straight up canceled it. That's fine. As I finish this J, I guess we'll hop straight into starting these picks. Maybe Meowing Buff will make an appearance. She's climbing around in the background. Starting off with the early prelim. This is a fight night taking place in Abu Dhabi. It's going to take place starting right in the afternoon at 12 o'clock p.m. for me. Very nice. I don't mind that. But as I was saying, first prelim fight of Long Xiao versus Chang Li. Now, I knew neither one of these dudes. I knew nothing about them, so I actually did do a teensy bit of research on these guys, and I'm very excited for this fight. I think this shit's going to be a banger. Potential will even be fight of the night, straight up, off first fight. I'm going with Chang Li. I'm going to give my pick straight off the bat. I'll get into records in a sec. Now, Long Xiao has more than triple the fights that Chang Li has. Chang Li is coming into this fight 9-1 with a 3-2 amateur career as well. Behind that, 30 years old, 5'8", 69-inch reach for Chang Li. And both of their road to UFC fights, they're in the. I should mention that this fight, I believe, is the finale of Road to UFC, or the finale for this tournament, this episode, whatever it is. A competition, Asian competition to get in the UFC, pretty much. Now, both of these dudes kind of got mollywopped in their fights. In their last fights that they won, they ended up winning. Only difference is Chang Li was able to finish his opponent, and Long Xiao won by majority decision in a close fight, but one that he, I think, did win. I only saw their last fights. Now, Chang Li, it scared me at first. My initial pick was Chang Li, and I was going to go with Chang Li, and then I watched his fight, and I was like, oh shit, because he got ragdolled like a motherfucker. I forget the name of his opponent. His opponent also had a crazy hard to pronounce, anglicized name, but his opponent ragdolled the fuck out of Chang Li for about 2.5 rounds. Maybe not 2.5, but at least 2 rounds. It was at the end when he got gassed and he started to get hurt a little bit that things started to change. However, before that, he would take Chang Li down at will. Any single takedown that Chang Li attempted, he would just reverse and end up on top his opponent. It was spooky, actually. He was getting controlled, not taking a lot of damage, but he was getting controlled, getting threatened with submissions and stuff like that. It was good. It was a really good comeback, though. It was a really good comeback, showed an insane amount of heart and determination. Man, these dudes coming up out of, Korea and shit are scary now. It's actually a little spooky. We'll move over to Long Xiao, though. Chang Li, he has some power. Has a lot of determination. He's not straight up incompetent when it comes to grappling. I don't think so. I just think the other dude was actually really good at grappling. I think that was more likely the case there. He might get exposed against Long Xiao in terms of that, but I don't even think this. I think this fight is going to get finished possibly in the first round because Long Xiao's striking defense is not non-existent. He goes with the method of blocking punches with the face, legitimately. He straight up blocks punches with the face. He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't move his head. He gets cracked. It's kind of crazy, actually, and he's been knocked out before. I think Long Xiao, in some aspects, not all aspects, in some aspects, might even be a better technical fighter than Chang Li, and that might just come with having over 30 fights already, but he's also younger. Long Xiao coming into this fight, 26 years old, 5'8", with a 70-inch reach. He did lose on the Dana White Contender Series to Christian Quinones, who isn't the best, but not absolutely horrible. Dog shit, but lost by unanimous decision. That's something to note. 0 striking defense. I think the striking defense is going to be what changes it here. He's not insanely better at grappling either. I think the grappling is actually pretty even. If anything, maybe even favors Chang Li, who might be a little bit more explosive in that regard. But I think Long Xiao is going to try to either try or just straight up take too many strikes, too many shots to the head, and he's going to get finished. Chang Li does have that power to do that, to hurt people. Haven't seen him knock anyone out clean, but he hurt his last opponent enough to where he was able to reverse positions. Eventually reversed one final position on the ground. I forget what he was in before that. He might have even been mounted, and then he reversed it to a mount and then finished his opponent. But hurt him on the feet before that. Very good. I'm going with Chang Li. Spent too much time on this fight already. But I'm very excited for it. I think that fight's going to be fantastic. Fucking fantastic. Moving on to the fight that was canceled. Would have been on Cedric Dumas versus Denis Tululin. If you're interested, I had Cedric Dumas going into that. I'm not going to go too much into that one, though. Moving on. If you're also interested, I think it got canceled because of visa issues. I think Cedric Dumas had visa issues for Abu Dhabi. Who knows? Maybe my son was chiefing gas. They didn't want to let him in. Moving on to the third fight of the night. Light heavyweight bout. Magomed Gadzhiyasulov. I hope I said that right. Gadzhiyasulov. Magomed Gadzhiyasulov versus Brendson Ribeiro. Brendson Ribeiro. We meet again. We meet again, man. Brendson Ribeiro made his debut against, I forget the guy's name, but it sounds like, it might even be Chang Ming Yang. Chang Ming Yang actually sounds very, very similar to what it is. I should have looked that up right before filming this, but I digress. I had picked Brendson Ribeiro in his last fight to beat that dude. And if I remember correctly, he actually was landing a little bit, and then he got knocked the fuck out. Or hurt really badly and finished regardless. And I think he has been knocked out before. Magomed, though, like, a dude like that, you know, I might sound like a straight hater or even just a fool, but he's fought nobody. Like, I was saying this about Bogdan Guskov, but Bogdan Guskov has won his fights at least and finished them. But Magomed, like, we haven't seen him in the UFC. It's a very similar situation, not even to Bogdan, to fucking, what's his name? To Shamil Gaziev, and they fight out of Bahrain. I don't think this dude's Bahrainian. I think he's actually Dagestani or some shit, Magomed, but my point is, I don't know who the fuck this guy is, man. And Brendson Ribeiro should have a decent size advantage, especially with reach. Like, he's fought fucking cans. I wrote in my notes, fought an 0-3 opponent, fought 0-0, like, and that was when he had like 4 or 5 wins. You know, he's 8-0 right now. Won on his Dana White Contender Series fight by decision. You know, something to note. Brendson Ribeiro at least knocked out his Dana White Contender Series opponent. I'm going with Brendson Ribeiro, man. I'm giving him another chance. If he gets smoked and I look like a fool, he gets smoked and I look like a fool. I don't really care. I didn't do too well last week on picks either, but I was also bugging out. I might be bugging out with some more picks. Here we go. This pick I don't think is too crazy. I don't think this pick is crazy at all, actually. Magomed Gadzhiyasulov versus Kyung-Ho Kang, a.k.a. Mr. Perfect. Man. I'm going with Kyung-Ho Kang, and I think it's just like, it's always spooky, right? When you go on a pick based on logic, like straight up logic, you're like, okay, like, looking at this guy's record, I've seen, like, you know, his recent form, he's doing well recently. I'm speaking about Kyung-Ho Kang. Like, Magomed Gadzhiyasulov, nowhere near as nice as anyone thought he was. Straight up seems to have the trend of faltering against better or equal competition, straight up. He does have some nice finishes on his record if you peep it in LFA, I think, or some other notable promotion. There's also a massive age gap that has to be mentioned. At bantamweight, that kind of does matter. Magomed Gadzhiyasulov is 8 years younger. Magomed Gadzhiyasulov coming into this fight 18-6 as a professional, 2 losses in his 2 UFC outs. 28 years old, 5'7" with a 68-inch reach. Versus Kyung-Ho Kang, who is 19-10 as a professional, with 8 of those wins and 4 of those losses taking place in the UFC. 36 years old, 5'9", 73-inch reach. Ultimately, my final note on this shit was fuck it. So, fuck it. We're going with Kyung-Ho Kang. We're going with Kyung-Ho Kang, honestly. I could see Kyung-Ho Kang either submitting or just winning by decision. Straight up. I have my method of victory and round at the end, of course, but we'll get there when we get there. Moving on to spooky hours, man. I have a horrible fucking feeling about this fight. Not in that it's going to be bad. It's just that, like, I don't know. We were talking about trends, right? We're talking about trends. So Renat Fekretinov versus Nicholas Dalby. Nicholas Dalby has this strange trend to beat dudes he's not supposed to beat. Like, I don't know what else to call it like that. What else to call it but that? He's coming into this fight 23 wins, 4 losses, and a draw as a professional. 7 of those wins, 3 of those losses, and the singular draw took place in the UFC. He is 39 years old. 5'11", 74.5-inch reach. This is a welterweight bout. Renat Fekretinov coming into this fight at 22-2 with a draw as a professional. 3 of those wins and the draw took place in the UFC. 32 years old, 6 feet tall, 74-inch reach, so a half-inch reach advantage for Nicholas Dalby. Like I said, man, Nicholas Dalby, the Danish, whatever the fuck. He somehow be getting it done. It's just tough. It's super tough. It's super tough. I have to go with Renat Fekretinov here, though. I don't think this is going to be one of those times where Nicholas Dalby gets it done, because even though I threw in the last-minute wager on Nicholas Dalby to beat Gabriel Bonfim in his last fight, like, that was just because of, like, odds. I was just tweaked. I was, like, cross-faded, like, you know, shit like that. Degeneracy. Straight up degeneracy. I don't know if he'll get this one done. I actually don't know if he's like a crazy underdog or anything like this. We'll have to see. Not about to look it up. This fight is spooky hours, though. Renat Fekretinov versus Nicholas Dalby, and Renat Fekretinov is the pick, ultimately. Moving on. Nasrat Haqparast versus Jared Gordon, man. Straight up, I'll tell you right now, emotional. Mainly emotional, but I also believe a little bit. Jared Gordon looked decent in his last fight. Granted. I'm not even going to get into it, but meowing, buff. I know you're meowing. You're meowing. Dudes are cutting the grass. Everything's happening, buff. Chop up here, buff. Nasrat Haqparast versus Jared Gordon. Jared Gordon's a New Yorker, bro. You must be smoking fucking crack if you thought I was going against Jared Gordon, bro. You know the vibes already. I'm not even going to get too much into that, because it kind of is an emotional pick, so hey. Nasrat Haqparast, though, is a tough out. That's a tough fight, you know. That's a tough fight, but I low-key see Jared Gordon maybe even finishing him by KO, TKO in just a long-winded sequence in, like, the second round. Like, who knows? Who knows? Moving on to another fight that I'm very interested, though. Shara Magomedov, the Pirate, versus Joyalton Luterbach. Kraut name. I'm going with Shara Magomedov. I think that you kind of have to go with Shara Magomedov here. Joyalton Luterbach has a somewhat impressive record, low-key. It's interesting to make your UFC debut close to your 50th fight. He's making his UFC debut, and it will be his 49th professional fight. Yes, buff. Yes. Yes. Hopefully it's an interesting fight, but who knows? Who knows? I think Shara, you know, he's in form right now. He's a massive tweaker. Probably get this one done on the feet. Shara is the pick. Not too much insight for that one. That's another one of those spooky logical picks, in a sense. And now we're going on to another kind of emotional pick, but I also do believe, man. I fucking believe, bro. I'm willing to make the pick one more time, aside from emotion. And this is talking about Johnny Walker versus Volkan Ozdemir. Ooh. Ooh. Spooky hours. This is spooky hours. Yes, buff. Yes, buff. Scream, buff. Yes. Now, Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker's career as of late has taken a very unfortunate turn for the worst. He should have gotten a DQ win the last time. I don't know if it was the last time they were in Abu Dhabi, but the fights were in Abu Dhabi. Magomed and Ankalaev landed an illegal blow. They called it a no contest. That shit should have been a DQ, honestly. They had their rematch, which I picked. That was one of the earlier fight picks on this channel, actually, if you go back in time. And Ankalaev brutally knocked out Johnny Walker, unfortunately. It is what it is. Volkan Ozdemir is not Ankalaev, and I know, like, he didn't get finished by Ankalaev. I don't give a fuck about that, honestly. Johnny Walker, we're talking about a 7.3-inch reach advantage here, 4 inches of height. Like, god damn it, son. I hope you're just taking this one serious. Can I just say that? Like, I just hope this guy, Johnny Walker, isn't fucking playing Fortnite and playing touch butt in the park and other shit. Yes, Buff. Yes, Buff. That's okay. I know. Johnny Walker's the pick here, man. And you can call that a tweaker. It's a bit of a tweaky pick. It's a bit of a tweaky pick. I feel like you almost... Yeah, I don't even want to say it. I feel like you almost can't pick Johnny Walker here. But almost. Almost. God. Am I actually going to fucking pick Johnny? I think I am. I think I am. I'm going with Johnny Walker. Fuck it. Moving on. To a fight I was excited to see before, which was Magomed Naimov versus Melsik Bagdasaryan. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. I was interested in that. Now it's been changed to Felipe Lima, who will be making his UFC debut. I think Naimov's going to win this one. And Naimov is a touchy dude for me because on his debut, which I believe was against Jamie Malarkey, I picked Jamie Malarkey to win. Jamie Malarkey was doing very well. And then I believe in, like, halfway through the second round, he gets caught with, like, an almighty hook and killed. And that was, like, one of the downturns. That was, like, either, like, a fight in or the fight that started the downfall of Jamie Malarkey. One of those. I think actually maybe a fight or two in. But I digress. Then I believe he fought Nathaniel Wood. And cheated like a little rat, but got it done. Got it done. I actually don't remember who he just fought. Damn, who did he just fight? Either way. Magomed Naimov gets it done. He's brolic as shit. He actually has spooky power. Spooky power. Some people would say unnatural power. Felipe Lima, on the other hand, man, is a good fighter. He's a very good fighter. He's a good technical fighter, but he's small. He's small. He's moving up in weight to fight. I don't think this is good, man. I really don't think this is good. I couldn't find his reach listed, by the way. Magomed Naimov, 29 years old, 5'9", 70-inch reach. Felipe Lima, 26 years old, 5'6". Reach NA, not applicable. Meaning that he has no arms. I like to imagine that. He has no arms at all. Magomed Naimov's the pick here. I think Magomed Naimov, again, like a logical, sensible pick. You could try to go with Felipe Lima. Because Magomed Naimov also, I wanted to say... Glad I brought that up. I think his chin might be suspect, for real. Might be suspect. People have cracked Magomed Naimov, and he's looked in trouble, for real. We have to keep that in mind. I still think the pick is Magomed Naimov. Moving on to another fight that I think people are tweaking if you're picking Daniel Rodriguez, low-key. Kelvin Gastelum versus Daniel Rodriguez. Kelvin is, I think, a much better fighter than Daniel Rodriguez, like, straight up. Straight up. Simple as. Simple as. Kevin Gastelum coming into this fight, 32 years old, 5'9", with a 71.5-inch reach. Daniel Rodriguez, 37 years old, 6'1", with a 74-inch reach. I like Kelvin Gastelum, man. I like the boxing. He has the threat of the takedown if he wants to shoot a takedown, like, I fuck with that. I fuck with that a lot. I'm going with Kelvin. I feel confident about that somewhat. Moving on to another exciting fight. Sergey Pavlovich versus Alexander Volkov. I'm going with Sergey Pavlovich, man. I think he really wants to get a good win. He's going to want to make a statement. Doesn't matter if it's a taller dude because Sergey actually has the reach advantage here. Although Alexander Volkov is not just a tall dude. He's literally 6'7" tall. He's coming into this fight 35 years old with an 80-inch reach compared to Sergey Pavlovich, who is 32 years old, 6'3", with an 84-inch reach. 18-2 as a professional, 6 wins, 2 losses in the UFC for Sergey Pavlovich. 37-10 wins as a professional for Alexander Volkov. 11 of those wins and 4 of those losses taking place in the UFC. Now, I think Sergey Pavlovich, like I said, is going to come out extremely motivated. Going to look like the fucking polar bear that he is. And possibly one shot or something like it. And on to the main event, man. Robert the Reaper Whittaker versus Ikram Aliskerov. Now, it's interesting. You know, Ikram Aliskerov, 15-1, 2-0 in the UFC. Now on the main event of a fight night, especially one in Abu Dhabi. But it makes sense. Not particularly. That only made sense to me in my head. Me saying made sense. But what I'm getting at is Ikram's fight versus Antonio Tricoli falls out. Robert Whittaker's fight against I fucking forget who falls out. So I guess Ikram steps up to take this. But it's just like massive risk for Robert Whittaker and mediocre reward. Not nothing, but just like mid reward. For Ikram, this is like, you know, if you lose, you lost to Robert Whittaker, which is not too bad. And if you win, you beat Robert Whittaker calmly. Like, and you stepped up on shorter notice to do it. So, but I got Robert Whittaker, honestly. I think Robert Whittaker is much better than Ikram Aliskerov. What the fuck? People are talking about, oh yeah, DDP ran through fucking Robert Whittaker. He's not going to be like Ikram's going to do something similar. Like, what the fuck? Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. I think Robert's just going to calmly outstrike Ikram Aliskerov. Maybe even dogwalk him. Jesus Christ. Something spooky, though. I feel like in the days that we live in now, when picking or thinking about picking Robert Whittaker, you'd be thinking about him getting chin, though. Like, it's just, it is what it is. He dog-walked Paulo Costa, except for a couple moments where he got head kicked. Like, I'm going with Robert Whittaker. What am I saying? Yeah. We're chilling. We are chilling. I'll recap all of the picks, add in the little round and method of victory to them. And I think I'll let you go to enjoy your beautiful Wednesday. It's hot as fuck in New York City. I'm going to throw in my AC when I'm done. Then possibly hit the run. Chang Ho Lee versus Long Xiao. Like I said, I got Chang Ho Lee winning by KO/DQ in round number 2. Why round number 2, you might ask? I don't know. I feel it coming. I feel it in round 2. But it could very well be in round 1, the way that Long Xiao defends punches and strikes to the head in general. Because Chang Ho Lee also throws up from time to time a decent knee. And, bro, like when I tell you, this guy, Long Xiao, just leaves his head and chin out to be cracked, like at all times almost. It's kind of spooky. So yeah, Chang Ho Lee by round 2 KO TKO/DQ. Rodriguez Dumas canceled. Then we got Brendson Ribeiro getting this one done in round 1. By KO, TKO, and DQ. I'm bloodthirsty, bro. I'm tweaking. I'm fucking crazy. You really shouldn't listen to the like specific round and method of victory picks. Those are going crazy. The money line is what I really care about, but money line, so to speak. Just the straight pick is what I care about. But moving on to Kyung Ho Kang. Initially, I had him winning by decision, but I actually switched it. I'm going to say round 2 submission, possibly. I could see this getting to like a fucked up, chaotic scramble. Kyung Ho Kang literally latches up a submission somewhere in there. I like that a lot. Although maybe the decision is the much safer pick. But fuck it. This one might as well go crazy. Go stupid. Then I got Renat for Kratinov. Whew. How does Renat for Kratinov get this one done? I'll just say decision. I'll just fucking throw that out there. I'll say decision. Renat for Kratinov winning by decision. Unanimous decision. Jared Gordon, my friend, my fellow New Yorker, bro. How do you win your fight? How does Jared Gordon win? Does he also win by decision? Does he KO TKO? Fucking, what's his name? Nasrat? God, man, I'm bloodthirsty. I'm changing to the bloodthirsty pick. I got Jared Gordon winning this one by round 3. KO TKO. I was going to say round 2 again, but I feel like I'm just going with round 2 for all of them. Might just be stuck in my head. Moving on to Shara Magomedov. I don't know how he wins. I'll say decision for Shara, actually. Maybe he doesn't get a finish in this one. He just calmly beats his ass. Johnny Walker versus Volkan Ozdemir. This one I did think about a little bit. I know it's in round 2. This is like a meme for this pick video, this episode. I got the round 2 KO TKO DQ, but I really do see this one for Johnny Walker in the sense that round 1 might be very even in the sense of it's actually like both dudes are landing kind of tit for tat, landing on each other, you know, nothing too crazy. Or like neither dude really does anything, you know, it's kind of a super low action round. Or Johnny Walker kind of gets hurt. Johnny Walker takes some heat, gets hurt a little bit. Volkan Ozdemir's a little confident. In round 2, comes out with something spooky, unorthodox. Maybe not too spooky, maybe just like calm, like a flying knee or some spooky shit. And I know, this sounds like preemptive coping. Like, this sounds just like insanity to be like, oh, and then he comes out in round 2 with a flying knee to get the finish. That's who Johnny Walker is, though. That really is who Johnny Walker is. Maybe like a spinning back fist, you know, something like that. Just a head kick in general. Something. I don't know. But I could see that happening. I could easily see that happening. Moving on. Muhammad Naimov versus Felipe Lima. I have to say almost by KO, TKO, DQ. Because I think Felipe Lima is too small. Man, like, unless Muhammad Naimov loses his power magically, I can't go with anything other than that. I'm not going to give a round for that, but I do think he's going to finish him by KO, TKO, DQ. I might as well say round 1, because I have no... Actually, I'll say... Fuck it. No round for that one. Fuck that. Moving on. Kelvin Gastelum versus fucking D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez. See, I want Kelvin to get a finish here. I don't know if he will, though. But I could see him easily winning this one by decision. So I'm going to go with decision, calmly. Sergey Pavlovich, meme pick. Not that he's a meme pick, really. The round and method of victory is going to be meme. But round 1, KO, TKO, DQ. I think that's simple as Robert Whittaker. Now, here we go into something spooky. Does Robert Whittaker dog walk Ikram Aliskerov? Or does he finish Ikram? Or vice versa? For both options. It's going to be a 5-round fight. Maybe I could see Robert Whittaker, like, taking off at the end, like, for, like, a round 4 KO TKO. That's just the first thing that pops into my head, but I'm always bloodthirsty. Like, these fights, there's probably going to be half of these that end in finish, you know, of the ones that I said would. And probably of those, maybe half are the other way around, God forbid. But either way, those are the picks. Like the video if you like it, subscribe if you want to see more. Dislike the video if you dislike it, please. Leave a comment of any kind. I always love seeing the comments. I'll respond. Hold your loved ones close. As always, much love. Big kiss.